2 games all, first set.
So Djokovic is the player who has defeated Rafa Nadal most often at the Grand Slams, and it's the same vice versa. This is a truly great rivalry.
Nadal is a year older, 32.
Djokovic, the baby of the semi-finalists.
Was there ever a time when we had 4 30-somethings in the semi-final?
No. This is it. The oldest 4 semi-finalists in the Open era. That's at 68.
All. $15-30.
Nadal under pressure at 15-30, 2-all.
Talked about Djokovic's court position. With the weak return, he's backpedaling to give himself a little bit more time to chase down Nadal's forehand. He changed it up, used the drop shot well.
Well, that is as rare as hen's teeth there. That's a missed overhead. Rafa generally does not miss overheads, but didn't Novak Djokovic do well to slide out to his backhand side and just make Nadal play 1 extra ball.
That's the thing. You never know what the opponent's going to do, so always try to hit 1 more ball back.
A better second serve from Nadal, but a man with returns of Djokovic's caliber, he'll be very disappointed not to get that one back in play.
Perhaps it's because they've played each other more than 50 times, but Novak Djokovic seems to know exactly where Rafa's going to hit the ball.
Djokovic.
Dad's going, what? My boy, what are you doing?
And that's just official matches. Imagine some of the exhibitions they played and the practice sessions.
Views.
Something to look out for is Nadal's direction of first serve at the ad box. He's had 9 first serves and he's hit 8 of them down the middle to Djokovic's forehand. For a lefty, that's pretty unusual. You'd be thinking he'd be using the slow one out wide to try and open up the court.
Advantage, Nadal.
After Wednesday's superb match against Del Potro, Rafa Nadal, most people would have thought would have been a bit tired, winning the 4th and 5th set 6-4, diving all over the place, fabulous court coverage. He was practicing at 10 o'clock the following morning.
He's a man of his routine. He likes to keep his habits throughout the Grand Slams on his match day and his practice day.
And he wants his specific towel back. In
Nadal
fact, both of them.
3 games to 2.
This is a
First set.
brilliant semi-final already, isn't it? I mean, listen, the winner of this is going to play somebody who is going to be thoroughly exhausted on Sunday.
They are, but if you think about the context of this match, they played 25 minutes for 5 games. Unless one of these players wins in straight sets, you got to think that this isn't going to finish tonight. And therefore, coming back tomorrow, if they were to play, you know, a long 5-set match, they're going to be in better shape than Anderson, but it'll be interesting to see how this unfolds.
So Kerber versus Serena Williams in the women's final, followed by the conclusion of Djokovic and Nadal. That would be a handy running order.
We're not there yet, though.
No.
8:30 in the morning, in the evening, and they still have 2.5 hours to go. And yes, they have a history of always long first sets, because they feel each other out, and then once players up a set, then he usually accelerates a little bit.
And they play such important matches, these two, aside from their meetings in the Tennis Masters Cup and the World Tour Finals, which are big enough.
Sit quickly, ladies and gentlemen,
Davis
please.
Cup, World Group.
Thank you.
All of these pairs' meetings have been at the quarter-final of a tournament or better.
Thank
so
you.
just pressure all the way.
Thank you very much.
One of the greatest natural athletes to ever play the game.
My childhood hero, the reason I picked up a tennis racket
Thank you.
was because of Bjorn Borg. Probably my love for Wimbledon as well.
He's just had break points.
Love 15.
Dealing with a bit of disappointment here.
15-all.
I think tactically Novak Djokovic knows exactly how to play Rafael Nadal. The question is, how much does he really believe he can win? Because he's got the game. Marian Veda, long-time confidant. We call him the brother, the friend, the uncle. Only one person.
All.
Boris Novak has won 63 matches at Wimbledon to your 71. It's just a baby compared to your record. I must ask you how it was to get in on this team, this family. Pushing hard, isn't he? Feels like he has to force, such as the coverage from Nadal at the back.
Yes.
It's my Vila now. Also together a long time, married 4 years ago in Montenegro. 2 kids together.
Advantage, Djokovic. Again, Djokovic. Three games all, first set.
So did he call you out of the blue, even though there was all this success in his life? All the titles have come his way. He called you and said, I want you to be a part of my team. How did that work out?
Yeah, it was in October while he was playing the China Open. He just lost his #1 ranking to Rafa. And he called me on a Saturday night. I was in Johannesburg. And he said, frankly, you want to coach me? I said, thanks for the flowers, but why? Yeah, I lost my #1 rank. I'm only #2. I lost so many major finals. Tell me what I have to do. I said, hold on, let me get to Monaco next week and let's talk tennis.
This is spectacular stuff, isn't it? I mean, some of the type of tennis, there's more touch.
Certainly a bit of variation from Nadal there, using the slice. But outstanding hitting from both players.
This is powerful returning of serve. It's so unspectacular what he does. He stands there and just seems to, the ball just flies off his racket, Djokovic. Just take a look at his returning position here and just look at how many returns he makes and how deep they are. It's relentless. Agassi, perhaps in the years gone by, had a return similar, but Djokovic has to be the best returner of all time, I would have thought.
Line.
Well, nobody had a better view than Novak Djokovic himself.
I thought the line judge had a pretty good view.
Yeah. Yes, he was slightly close, so he's got that one wrong. And that's what Hawkeye's for. The 40.
That can trigger some of the emotions we discussed in the last couple of matches that makes him a bit more aggressive and hence a better player. 3 break points.
Thank you.
This is scintillating stuff.
So Nadal went all out on this point. Nothing to lose. His back was against the wall with 3 break points, and deservedly won this best rally of the match so far.
Yeah, Djokovic.
Relentless. Djokovic breaks. And he'll serve with new tennis balls at 4-3. Great start for him.
Djokovic leads 4 games to 3. First set.
So just to finish that story on, he sent you the private jet to get you to Monaco, presumably?
No.
He sent you an economy?
I think it was business class, maybe. But
so you had a chat with him in Monaco?
I had a chat with him. We spoke 4 hours of tennis. He said, what do I need to do to win again? And I told him, what are you willing to prepare to do?
So you wanted him to work harder, physically?
No, he had some of the finals he lost. I felt he didn't give his best. I felt that he was holding back a little bit. He had excuses already before he walked out, to be quite honest. And I told him, listen, I'm just going to tell you what I think. If you don't like it, you can not hire me or fire me. But I'm always going to tell you what I think.
And how long were you with him?
3.5 years, 3 years, and a couple of months.
And during that time, he held all 4 Grand Slam championships at the same time.
He had a good run, but ultimately the coach is always responsible when the player loses. And the player gets a trophy when he wins.
You're so cynical.
That's the truth.
Djokovic has made a very powerful starter here. So
he has. It's still, for me, interesting, the serving pattern of Nadal. Serving 75% of first serves to Djokovic's forehand, and that ad box, 9 out of 10 first serves, he's gone down the middle to the tee, and I find that surprising because when Djokovic hits the return, he's already in the middle of the court. And for a lefty, you think maybe he'll use the slow one out wide to try and open up the court. Doesn't seem to have paid off so far with Djokovic getting that break of serve.
Love. Love.
Handy backhand to call on, isn't it? Just comes out of the middle of the racket like a shot.
Love. Forty 15. Game Djokovic. Djokovic leads 5 games to 3.
Djokovic is up the pace in this semi-final compared to his previous matches in the championship. It's up 5 miles an hour just in this match. I know they've only played 8 games, but it's significant. It's averaging 81 miles an hour. That's it's a significant leap up. What, 6.5% or so? Adrenaline in there.
Yeah, and it's called Rafael Nadal. He's going to play save and average. He's not going to win. And also felt before the match started that Djokovic, this match was more important to him for the year. He needs this match to make the year matter. With Rafa, unbelievable year already, winner of the French Open.
That's the first serve in the match so far at the ad box that Nadal has hit to Djokovic's backhand in the 9th game.
That is...
As a server, if I face such a good return as Djokovic, I would go a lot more down the body because the wings are so good. Nadal isn't doing that yet.
Game Nadal.
Well, that's the first part of the equation. Nadal makes Djokovic serve for the first set from the 4.
5 games to 4.
First set in the second semi-final from Wimbledon. It's the 150th anniversary of the club this year. There have been lots of celebration. It's the 50th year of open tennis. That's when professionals were allowed to play. Founded in 1868, the All England Croquet Club. Lots of iterations, but now this beautiful facility, a nice new high-definition screen that puts a lot of results down the left-hand side and stats and scrolling along the bottom as well. That's by number 1 court, which will have a roof next year, and those people will still be there next year because they're having a lovely time. It's been a long, hot day, cooling down now. And a very good evening to everybody out there on Henman Hill. There's a new walled garden, a food market as well, so everybody full of good cheer and settling in. We've got at least another 2 hours and 8 minutes, if required, of play on this centre court. And Novak Djokovic is about to serve for the first set. That's an ace, and this Rafa challenges back, which he does.
He walks on the other side.
Well, everyone's ready here, but hold on. It's a second serve. Rafa's got to do the space invader walk and go straight back along the baseline. Second serve. The defence from Nadal. He seemed a little confused on the passing shot, though Djokovic was covering the line like he knew what was in Nadal's mind. It's really hard to believe that we're watching a Novak Djokovic who dropped out of the top 20 in the world earlier on this year. First time in 11 years he'd been as low as outside the top 20. He's certainly going to rise back up again.
It's tough to come back.
40 love.
Magnificent.
3 set points now.
Well, he's done very well there, Djokovic. 6-4, 47 captivating minutes in the second semi-final. The winner of this match to play, Kevin Anderson, in Sunday's final. A serving performance to be proud of from Novak Djokovic, identified at the beginning of the match, Tim Henman.
Yeah, it was always going to be an important factor who was going to hit the high percentage of first serves and who was going to be able to give themselves a platform, and Djokovic's serving performance was magnificent. 78% first serves, 76% of points won behind the first serve, but 83% of points won on the second serve. He only dropped 6 points in that first set when he got his opportunity, taking the break point. 14 winners and only 8 unforced errors. Absolutely ideal start. Puts the pressure on Nadal at the beginning of this second set.
So he's upped his forehand speed. His accuracy on first serve is up a number of percentage points as well. He's not making unforced errors. I wonder how Nadal will respond.
second set.
Seem to have an answer to this consistency from Novak Djokovic.
See the reaction of Nadal. He knows how important that first service game is. He doesn't want to get a break behind early on. Look at this. That wasn't match point. It was just saving a break point.
I think Nadal's got to look to use this slow one out wide
Advantage, Nadal.
on the ad box. When he did that on the break point, he gets Djokovic off the court, can open up the forehand side.
Seen this for a couple of years. This is the build that he's been talking about. The victory over Nishikori in 4 tough sets, the arguments with the crowd, the set down to Carl Edmund, the quarter-final at the French, all of that, this has been building to this. So the Djokovic really...
You've got to be hitting the ball pretty well from the back of the court to bully Nadal.
That's so true.
Hold his position firm.
Advantage.
What else would you be doing at 9 o'clock on a Friday night? This is great. Thriller.
Went for it. 125 miles an hour is just about all that Nadal has got.
Got out of the game. Well done, Spaniard. Massive hold, start of the second set.
First game, second set.
Now you've been banging on about serve direction. Now you show us it with the greatest wood in the world.
Well,
what's been going on?
Nadal is serving a lot to Djokovic's forehand, and the in the ad box there, the 82%, it's going into Djokovic's strength, but also when the serve is directed there, it's into the middle of the court. So Djokovic hits the return and now is in the perfect position. He's only hit one serve out wide to the backhand, which obviously then opens up the rest of the court. In the juice box, he's still serving 2/3 to the Djokovic forehand, and I think that's something that Nadal's going to have to think about changing up.
And none of the serves onto the body of Djokovic as well. He is not mixing up his serve whatsoever. I'm sure he spoke before about it. I'm sure he will serve to the forehand, but obviously he's down the set, so maybe time to change it up a little bit. On the other hand, Djokovic is giving his best service display of the championship so far.
30 love.
We would never qualify a NADAL return as a miss hit, but that was a bit better than anticipated. And the open court's all his.
Interesting return, no more than a block really. A volley technique on the forehand side from NADAL. Something that he would never do on a clay court where he is so proficient.
But this one I qualify as meant to be. He wanted to play there.
That's it.
NADAL wants to take the returns on the baseline now.
Djokovic happy to laugh about it now.
When every player has one weakness, I can't tell you that Djokovic's weakness is his overhead. If you take the top 100 in the world, I think his overhead is the worst. Coming from me.
You were coaching him for 3 years. Why didn't you do anything?
Nothing worked. We tried everything.
Game Djokovic.
Good hold and an important hold.
1 game all, second set.
Got the first set under his belt, didn't want to give away an early break.
Behind Marian Veda, it's Novak's uncle Goran. On the left with the jackets is Eduardo Ataldi, his agent.
There's another agent as well, isn't there? Eleanor, she's up there. How many agents do you need?
There are actually a couple that helps. Here we saw beautifully how NADAL controlled again the center of the court, the baseline, moves Djokovic from side to side. And when that happens, the outcome is obvious.
There's Elena on the left, Elena. I mean, the technical proficiency you need to take a ball like this from the Nadal forehand and just pump it straight back down the line from what, 12 foot behind the baseline? It's a high tariff. The pressure tells he's just getting every ball back. There's something on every ball from Djokovic.
And Nadal starts to feel a little bit uncomfortable with the power that Djokovic possesses today. He makes a lot of unforced errors. Here's the white serve, Tim.
I think that's got to be
30-all.
his go-to. For a lefty to a two-handed backhand, you can sometimes get them to take one hand off the racket, get a defensive reply.
Gary Player talking to Rod Laver. Love that.
I think they talk golf or tennis.
Yeah, got
Bit of both.
Got the Open next week. There's nothing they don't know about beating opponents in one way or the other.
Another opportunity for Djokovic.
Body serve.
But if a body serve worked at 97 miles an hour, it'd probably work even better if it's 115 miles an hour. But again, Nadal went for the big one up the tee.
And that's not the right thing.
Doesn't seem to be working so far.
Advantage, Djokovic.
From Novak Djokovic, venting like Vesuvius.
Because he knows he's not going to take his chances now against Nadal. Eventually, the tide's turning. That was Serbian, and I'm not going to translate that.
Is that naughty?
Bother, wasn't it? Didn't he say bother?
He didn't like the form in plain English. Big hole for Nadal, very important. Stay in that second set. His chance will come.
Nadal leads 2-1, second set. First set, Djokovic.
Great effort from Jack Draper in the boys' junior singles, the British player. He won 19-17. in the third against Mejia of Colombia. Out on court 3. So a good effort. Second week of the championships. Looking forward to the women's singles final. Angelique Kerber against Serena Williams. Compelling story she brings to the sport. Kerber Williams. 1 o'clock UK time on Saturday. Nadal just ran out to receive serve, sending a message to Djokovic here. If you can't take your opportunities, maybe I can grab 1 or 2.
Love 15.
Going into the forehand side, you have to go with strength and perhaps surprise. Djokovic with not enough of both. 93 whipped miles per hour down the line. Look at that loop on the forehand. Protecting his backhand side. It's a great example of someone playing the opponent rather than the ball. Nadal had done so well to get the ball back in, and basic shot, but Djokovic just going for too much and pulling it wide.
NADAL leads 3 games to 1.
That break of serve
Second set
was as much about a force of personality and a presence on court as it was about any tennis ball. Also the history that Nadal brings right from the word go in that game, running out, bouncing up and down. Wonderful.
And it was his first breakpoint opportunity of the match, and he really needed to try and change the momentum. He's got the early break in this second set, now needs to hold on to his own serve.
Frustrated. That usually means he's gonna hit even a little bit harder. Let's see if he connects.
There's one or two people who hold a ticket for tomorrow's tennis. The women's singles final here at the championship, certainly enough. But I'm sure there's one or two ticket holders that might be a little bit interested in this match going to one set all, because that would, I think, make it very likely that they won't finish this match tonight. An 11 p.m. finish under the license to operate this facility.
Djokovic kept hitting, was able to finish that point at the net. Break points to even out that second set.
Back on even terms, second set.
NADAL leads 3 games to 2.
They exchanged slaps there, didn't they? A break from Nadal and now a break back from Djokovic. And right from the word go, Boris Becker, that forehand down the line on the very first point where you said he was trying to hit the ball harder. That was Djokovic's intent.
Yeah, there's always a fine line when you're frustrated, how you channel your inner demons. Some players go into defensive mood, others overly aggressive. Djokovic is the second of species. That doesn't mean it always goes well. He's just, in a moment of crisis, he goes forward, and Vader likes it too.
So you had Marian Vida there, you came on board, Radek Stepanek was involved, Andre Agassi was coaching him for 1 full year as well, Mario Ancic was another one. Is this now the team settled?
I believe so, and on a personal level I certainly hope so. I think Vader, Djokovic, they go through thick and thin. They've been together for more than 10 years with it. A few breaks here and there. Ultimately it's about how much Novak wants it, what he's willing to prepare, but this man knows him better than anybody.
When he was living behind the Iron Curtain, when it then was, we would travel a little bit together, and he would always take back goods that you could only get in the West. So he used to take back salmon and nice things like caviar on occasion that you can get in little tins around the place, and even some Parmesan cheese. He used to sneak it back into his country. I hope he doesn't get arrested now I've said that. Too late. But
So talk about going through thick and thin. In his own life he has. He was a great friend of Milan Machir, semi-finalist here at Wimbledon himself.
Nadal found a way to return to Djokovic's serve now and starts to rally on the right foot because he's taken speed out. With the slice, he slows down the game.
And the dexterity to get that return back in play. It was a phenomenal body serve from Djokovic.
Just hit the line. Good luck with it.
Good return for Nadal, and Djokovic hits the half volley here.
15-30.
Over the high part of the net, down the line, onto the line. At love 30.
Some players
30-all.
smash that ball or have a beautiful backhand cross-court winner, but something with high balls and Djokovic at the net he doesn't like.
Managed to hit a winner. Ugly looking thing, but got the job done.
$40-30.
Nadal is still very much in this service game.
Takes his time, doesn't he?
Used to drive me crazy how many times this guy bounces the ball.
Just phenomenal hitting, opened up the court with the backhand cross court. Drives the forehand into the backhand corner, and by that reaction it looks like Nadal's relatively fired up.
the bounce there. At this stage in the tournament, there are areas that bounce differently than others on a grass court. It's part of the beauty of the surface. It's a natural and living surface. It's worn very well these 2 weeks. Stopped, such was the touch and the backspin, but it stopped well short of the service line.
Nadal, 5 feet behind the baseline, unleashes the forehand, and it's his instinct that takes him forward, able to cut the angle down and play the drop shot. Really does have underrated feel at the net.
Speed through it. Goodness gracious me. Well, we can measure just about everything in tennis. That was 4,000 RPM, and I don't really know what that means apart from it was loads of topspin. I mean, 4,000 revolutions per minute, if you think about it. That is really dipping, and the footwork that goes with it. So he gets Djokovic back there, moves, and then whip.
What it means to the Rafa corner. Get up on the field. What an important re-break.
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 It's like a re-raise in your poker games, Boris.
Oh, can he hold?
I think it's marvellous how Rafa Nadal has come through this match against Juan Martín del Potro in the quarterfinal. 4 hours and 48 minutes just 2 days ago. No problem physically whatsoever.
30 love.
He has changed his service patterns completely from the first set. He's using the wide serve now very successfully.
Love.
Like it's going to be one set all soon, but you never know. Almost an hour and a half played. Beautiful tennis match.
Leads 5 games to 2.
For a semi-final
first set Djokovic.
Of Wimbledon. Deep into a Friday evening in this most global of cities, the capital of London, 6 or 7 miles away, and who knows what's taking place under the London night sky tonight. I hope a lot of you are enjoying this second semi-final. The first was an absolute monster. Kevin Anderson coming through it. Eventually, for John Isner, we pull back across the Wimbledon Park Gardens there. That was designed for the original vicarage in Wimbledon Village, overlooking. That was basically the garden. That was Capability Brown who built that. Then now there's a golf course there. We pull back across Church Road to Centre Court with number 1 court in the darkness beyond the roof. And next year,
at this time, they could be, I suppose, well, not at this exact time, the second Friday, but there could be 2 routes just like this. And it's certainly dark out there. People are enjoying the tennis, and they're so welcome here at this venerable old club. Back inside here, the light just about perfect to play under, isn't it? Have you played under the lights, actually, Tim? I know you played the first match under the roof.
Well, we played the test event. I don't think it was quite so much to test the lights, it was more to do with the air conditioning and making sure the ambient temperature was right. And
Joachim Kleisters, Steffi Graf and Andre Agassi.
that is correct.
And I was in the stands watching it.
And I was talking about it.
It was pretty average tennis, wasn't it, Boris?
It looked good, but now it felt.
You're a good man.
And you hit Steffi accidentally, didn't you? Did you?
No, I didn't.
Just like you hit that
Andre
ball girl
hit
in.
him.
Oh, did you? Okay.
So get your facts right.
Again, to change the body language, Djokovic puts the shoulders down.
Needs to get fired up again.
A little bit negative now. Goes through such a roller coaster emotionally.
15-all.
Carried him to 12 majors, but it also carried him to some surprise losses over the years. Never quite know what you're going to get from him.
Rafa Nadal will stay at world #1 no matter what happens in this semi-final and the final on Sunday. Novak Djokovic projected to rise to number 11 in the world, unless he wins the title, in which case he'll probably go to around 9.
Said he can't volley. Oh, but he's shortening the points now. We're trying to save a little bit of energy.
Quicker than an email. 91 mile an hour. Forehand. Reversing, as you can see. Singeing the grass. So this is a moment of truth. 5-3 Nadal serving for the second set.
It's amazing Djokovic finds smashing so difficult when he can hit touch volleys like that.
NADAL leads 5-3.
Exactly.
Second set.
And you worked with him for 3.5 years, Boris.
Blame it on me.
You should be looking for a bit of a refund, I would have thought. All right, here we go then.
that's just toe-to-toe, isn't it?
Love 15.
Surprising choice of shot, that.
How did that point over? Federer lost and a lot of you are disappointed. I mean, this is just magnificent. This is just full on, isn't it?
Yeah, and they're pushing each other to greater heights now, and they know that this second set is vital. Play their best tennis. That's what two great champions do to each other. Bring out the very best. Djokovic is still breathing pretty hard after that long exchange.
NADAL feeling the need to throw the ball higher over the net and buy some margin for error. How interesting, this great ground stroker feeling he has to change to make Djokovic miss.
30, 40.
Quality-wise, the best part of the match so far. A bit of a dialogue with his coach. Obviously it's not allowed, and it's non-verbal, right? But sometimes just a look in the eye helps. The reason Nadal missed her is because Nadal is not his natural shot down the line from that corner. He prefers to cross court, but he's avoiding the Djokovic's backhand right now. Look at the Nadal shirt and the sweat on it so much. Boy,
it's not big enough to contain all those muscles, is it?
Incredible.
There was a bit of chalk. It looked like it might be on the long line. Nadal wants to check.
Service line. Ball was called out.
It was also called late.
For service. Deuce. NADAL.
It's got to be Nadal's most improved shot. We talk about him being a natural right-hander. Really uses that right hand to flatten the backhand out.
Still the highest part of the net though. To perfection.
Of this intriguing semi-final. It's one set all, and I doubt very much that there's time to fit in 2 complete sets between now and 11, which means they may well be playing tomorrow. So, second set summary. How do you sum up a set like that? The first serves in from Nadal, battening down the hatches, serving in the direction that Tim Henman has been asking him to serve in. He's noticed the pattern, 77% first serve in. First serve points won, only 63%. It was a right scrap. 3 breaks in it. Net approaches. Djokovic coming in a fair amount and actually getting some success in the penultimate game. To no avail. Unforced errors again. Nadal battening down the hatches, only 6. So a set all time. 10-10 on a Friday night. It's got to be finished by 11 o'clock UK time, so an hour and 10 minutes. Otherwise, this match is going ahead. That's not rain, by the way. That is sweat coming off Nadal's brow. The backhand going just wide, and Novak Djokovic's wife knew about that. The Rafa box saluting their man under this roof on centre court. Plenty of people in the Raw box as well. What a marathon day.
Bjorn Borg looking on at a 3-time champion, a 5-time champion and a 3-time champion in the same arena. So deep in thought, Novak Djokovic, after losing the second set. This intriguing rivalry, 26-25 to Djokovic. The patterns that they produced together, just glorious. Members of the combined services looking after all the entrances and exits into this centre court.
Novak is ready to serve.
Time.
A little bit of meditation, just coming within himself again. He needs some balance, some calmness to start that third set the way he played in the first. On the other hand, we've seen Rafa leaving the court after a set or two, changing his gear, I guess. It's so wet, everything. This is what we thought we're going to be after the first two sets. Set off.
Third set then. Djokovic serving the second semi-final at the championships.
Love 15.
We had a similar scenario at the beginning of the second set when Nadal had to be careful to hold serve. I think Djokovic's got to be careful now.
$15.
This is their third meeting at Wimbledon, their first since 2011 when Djokovic defeated Nadal in 4 sets in the final that year. Nadal won their first meeting here in the 2007 semi-final, so 11 years ago they were contesting the equivalent match.
Nadal getting more comfortable on the Djokovic's serve. Returns with much more confidence and authority. Serve.
First game, third set.
And in the third set with your nose ahead just a little bit.
He's always fiddling about with something, isn't he, Rafa? He's always got something. There's a bottle's not quite right. Can you see that? It's just got to... The play is supposed to be continuous here. It's just got to be... Maybe the grass is against the bottle the wrong way. There's nothing in either of them.
many balls you have? How many balls you have?
Check all the tennis balls. Missing one maybe.
Aha, right, hunt the tennis ball. Who's got the tennis ball? Damien Steiner. Right, there's 3 coming in there. And I think there's going to be 1 or 2 introduced.
He'll take a look at the condition of the balls that are in play and try and find a couple that are in similar condition.
Well, for a man who is so precise with everything, Nadal just making the point that there are 7 balls in play now instead of 6. He's directing traffic out there.
Here we go. Tennis balls are sorted.
No way Rafa could play with 7 balls. That would be very uncomfortable.
Nadal just snapped.
The point almost felt like an exhibition.
This was gorgeous. It was just sort of going over his backhand side enough, and there's the pirouette. Loves that shot.
For a lefty, that's the bread and butter serve. Out wide opens up the court.
Correction hook. No?
So Damien Steiner says that that ball was good and therefore an ace. Novak absolutely convinced. And sure enough, that is a mistake from the umpire's chair. Second serve. Oops. Yeah, that is a bit of an oopsie one.
Umpires are only meant to get involved when they see a clear mistake. Not quite sure what he saw there.
One game all, third set.
Well, we've got an hour to go here. Does that play on the players' minds? Or are they not thinking about that? They will have known all the rules before they went out there.
trainer looks like he needs a lie down.
30 love.
The tennis that they are producing is fantastic after the weight that they had from the previous semi-final.
And a total different style.
40 love.
Djokovic serve has been very impressive today, still at 75% first serves. But he's dropped his winning percentage on his second serve now, down to 44. I think both players have locked in now. They find their rhythm, they find their form.
Game, Djokovic.
Well, nothing wrong with that serve. 2-1, third set of this Wimbledon semi-final.
Djokovic leads 2-1. Third set, 1 set all.
Now, I'm sitting here in the commentary box with one of these super coaches, Boris Becker, who was tempted away from all the other fun bits in life to go back out on the road with Novak Djokovic. And one of the things that he worked on was the serve. And you've noticed that he's changed his serve due to various injuries that he's had. So, Boris, take us through this. How's that changed?
Yeah, he's...
Stop it there, if you wouldn't mind. Point of contact, or maybe not.
No, when
a
he's...
bit late. Carry on with that one.
When he's lifting his arm towards the ball, he goes more directly instead of having the long swing around that he had before. And he's doing that because he's protecting his elbow.
Okay, I tell you what, we're going to run that one again, and we might stop it for you. You tell us where you want this stopped. This is a free coaching lesson from Boris Becker. You tell us when you want it stopped.
That part was last year a little bit longer. He was in fact even short at the Australian Open because he wasn't sure how the elbow was holding up. He's regaining strength and confidence that he's completely injury-free, so he's going to prolong the swing on the serve, which bothered him last year, and that's one of the reasons he stopped. Only details, but to a player that means a lot if he has to change his swing because of an injury.
Sir David Attenborough in the roll box, which is still pretty full. I'd say 14,500, maybe 15,000 people in here. That's the capacity. There's not many spare seats.
Love.
If you really look at Nadal's serve from 10 years ago to now, it's like a different stroke, how much he's changed. Ball toss and the position where he hits the ball.
Interesting tactic from Nadal. It was something that he did a lot in the 4th and 5th sets against Del Potro. Used the drop shot. And that tactic works against anyone.
He's just cuffed this forehand, hasn't he? So leaning back,
third set,
just easing the racket head through at about 90 miles an hour.
But he's increasing the pressure now. This man here, he plays his best tennis tonight. He takes the ball early, he takes chances.
It's unlikely this match is going to be finished tonight, so you feel at 1 set all, this is such an important set.
Look at where Nadal is receiving from here. There's one of the line judges is right now. Boy, she wants to return maybe. And now Nadal moves up a good 10 or 12 feet, I would say.
Nadal using some extra height over the net. The margin for error is there. Some of the pace is taken off. He's looking to keep a good depth. But changing the view, either on the return or from the baseline rallies. He's changing things as he goes against Djokovic, trying to lose Djokovic's rhythm.
Not far. It's the one area where Nadal struggled the last couple of years with the return of serve. He spent a lot of time and effort in his practice week in Mallorca to improve the position and therefore feel more confident with it.
Hasn't had that much trouble this year, though, has he, Boris? He's only lost 2 matches, and one of them he pulled out against Marin Cilic in the quarter-final of the Australian Open. The other one was to Dominic Thiem.
Most of these matches were on his beloved clay.
Game Djokovic.
He sees that one whistled by. 2 hours of tennis. It's 1 set all, 3-2 Djokovic in the 3rd set.
Djokovic leads 3 games to 2. 3rd set, 1 set all.
So does it play on the players' minds, was a question that I posed earlier, Tim, that because they would have been informed from the club and from the referee's office that play can go on until 11 o'clock and no more?
They're definitely aware of it, and I just think it will probably add to the intensity of this situation. They know that they're not going to finish, and as I said, at a set all, really would like to go to bed 2 sets to 1 up rather than 2 sets to 1 down. Be interesting to see how many of the crowd are aware that this match has to stop at 11 p.m. Might be a few disappointed punters if and when the umpire makes that announcement.
Shouldn't that be put up on the screens to let the crowd know, or not?
I think they will going to hear some whistling and some booing, because obviously most of the people here don't know the local rules, so I'd rather not.
It's good to see Nadal at the business end of Wimbledon once again. He's lost to some inspired performances since 2011 when he won. He's lost to players ranked pretty low, who've just played out of their skin, to be quite honest. You think of Lukáš Rozol on this very court in 2012, Steve Darcy, Nick Kyrgios in 2014, and Dustin Brown, and they really did play the matches of their lives against him because they had nothing to lose.
And most interesting, all of these players were typical grass court players, serve and volleying, where Djokovic is obviously playing completely different.
Love 15.
This guy's longtime partner.
She never seeks the spotlight, never does interviews, nothing.
Her beauty speaks for herself.
Well, the one time she did do an interview, she said that travelling the tennis circuit would asphyxiate her. She said it would be too difficult to watch Rafa
who she's been with for so many years,
Love
to
30.
play and to compete, and it's the last thing that he needs is to have to think about somebody else the whole time. So she stays away. Here's a moment of crisis for her partner.
That was a make-up before in return.
15-30.
Yeah, he knows it. 2 unforced errors from Nadal on the first 2 points. He needs a strong response.
Bad first service. All.
Carlos Costa with the green jacket, Rafa's long-time agent.
$40-30.
From love 30 down, Rafa Nadal 4 straight points, finished with the bullet down the line.
And that will do nicely.
Third set.
So it's 3-all. So you're thinking, well, why are they seem to be taking a rest here, but they're not. They're just changing their rackets. Players like a fresh, if not framed, then a fresh string job. Players will take, what, 6 rackets out, maybe 8?
Need 9 for a 5-set match.
9 for a 5-set match, and then
Ball change 7 and 9. Same. If you play 26-24 in the 5th,
you need 2 bags.
31.
But also with various different tensions, so they're all on a different level.
15 love.
I'm very impressed with the Djokovic serving tonight. Aces, and we're only in the middle of the third set. Supporting her man.
$30-15.
Djokovic had love 30 against the Nadal serve in the previous game.
30 all.
Back to 30 all in this game. Certainly feeling the pressure. Everyone playing the match from the sidelines.
So much easier from there.
From Djokovic, he knew how big a point that was. That was a clean point.
40-13.
Seems like he was seeing from the corner of his eye Nadal moving first in the open court, and therefore he waited just a tad longer to finish that down the line.
Big hold.
Djokovic leads 4-3, third set, and 1 set all.
So Tim Henman, do you have a direct line from here to the mayor's office in Wandsworth or Merton? Because we'd very much like to finish this match. It's really a good match, and we don't want the schedule messed with. We want these guys to not have to come back tomorrow and finish. But it's an 11 o'clock license, and that's the end, right?
Yeah, I guess that's the way. I guess that's probably something similar with the pubs in the local area, that 11 o'clock is curfew, but it does seem a little bit of a shame. The two players in full flow.
That looked like Tony in there, who was one of the guys in charge of the catering and the members. That's the balcony. The famous entrance that Boris Becker came out of in 1986. And said, I just lost a tennis match, or was that 87?
That was before internet and color TV.
87. Was it 87?
It was 1987, yeah. But interesting now, we have 10-19, and the score is 4-3 in the third set. So theoretically, somebody's going to win the third set, and it might be 3-all or 4-all when the match has to be stopped. That's a pity.
And that's tricky.
Yeah.
Tricky for the players. You've got to hit the ground running tomorrow when you come back on. No easing into the match.
Flag for service.
Please, another ball.
But both players know that they only play until 11, right? They're aware of that.
Yeah.
It's going to come as a terrible surprise to them if they get dragged off court at 11 o'clock.
Well, you've either done the training or you haven't. In points like this, we find out. Still finding the spring.
Nadal just doesn't know the meaning of the word tired. 4 hours 48 against Del Potro in the previous round. Still as agile as ever.
Where Djokovic was controlling the baseline rallies for the first set and a half, Nadal has switched the gear, and you feel like the longer the rally goes, Nadal is slightly better. That's what you call taking return on the rise.
That's a very impressive and momentum-building service game. He'll be ready to launch an attack now.
4 games all, third set.
He's the only man to have won 11 Grand Slams. There's only one other person who won the same Grand Slam on 11 occasions. That was Margaret Court, who won her own Australian Championships between 1960 and 1973. So a history maker in every way, Rafa Nadal. Looking to pick up Wimbledon title number 3. The winner of this semi-final certainly favoured against Kevin Anderson on Sunday.
First double fault of the match. A set all, 4 all, not the ideal time.
That's brave. It needs to be.
15-all.
Most other players like just a classical forehand volley. Not Djokovic, he hits it through. His first serve is holding on. Well constructed point by Djokovic, using all angles of the court. He's feeling the ball well now.
Well, that's another impressive hold of serve. He was under pressure after the double fault on the first point. He responded with 4 straight, 5-4.
Leads 5 games to 4, third set, 1 set all.
So it's interesting what you were saying, Boris and Tim, about how, as the rally develops, you feel that maybe Nadal is gaining control of these rallies. Points won by shots, so under 5 shots in the rally. Djokovic, Nadal, 54-52, 5-8, 20-22. So it's very even. Even the longer rallies, perhaps second and third sets, you feel a little different from the first?
Exactly. I felt Djokovic came out of the gates very aggressive, taking the ball early and winning most of these exchanges. And as the match went on, Nadal started to be more comfortable with the speed that Djokovic was giving him and taking more control of these longer rallies. But it's a toe-to-toe battle. We expected that. 2 of the players of all time. We have 29 majors on the court right now.
And if you add Roger Federer's 20, It's absolutely remarkable. This three ball that have driven the record book, aided by the likes of Wawrinka and Del Potro, Cilic, and of course our very own Andy Murray.
Look at all sorts of stats, rally length, but my maths is correct. Nadal has won 87 points and Djokovic 86. Some important points coming up. And it almost feels right to me that this set should go to a tie-break. It's been nip and tuck the whole way.
$30-15.
90 points each. Tells you the story of this match so far.
Third set.
Very focused. Former player himself. Very successful in doubles.
Talk about turning defence into attack. How Nadal stayed in that rally on the backhand side as soon as Djokovic went over to the forehand. Nadal said, have some of that.
Love 30.
Serve save him again.
15-30.
Slightly worried look on her face.
30 all.
At 4 all, he was love 15 down and came through the game. This time at 5 all, he was love 30 down. He's got back on terms again.
This has been missing for 2 years, this chest-beating sort of performance.
40-30.
I wonder if we'll hear the Djokovic roar if he can get out of this game.
DJOKOVIC leads 6-5, third set, 1 all.
That is a wonderful holder serve from love 30. He had every reason to lose that game. He had every excuse. Love 30 down. If he was going to be weak, it's at these moments, and he hasn't shown any of it. You feel Nadal is getting ahead in the game and may take control, Tim, but not to be.
Well, it's been so impressive from both players dealing with the adversity when they're behind. Such strong serving from Djokovic. Asking the question again of Nadal to serve to stay in this third set.
I haven't played one of these Grand Slam championships since the French 2015, and of course Rafa Nadal has now won that 11 times, but Novak had not won it until that year and beat him in the quarterfinal 7-5, 6-3, 6-1. It was a seminal moment in our sport, as Novak Djokovic went on a tear really for about 18 months, 2 years, where he seemed unplayable, and he's certainly attaining those heights again. That's been a wonderful thing to watch during these championships, and also at Queen's Club where he made the final, and we enjoyed that on the BBC as well.
Yeah, I believe he's got his hunger back, he's got his commitment back, he's refocused on the game he loves so much. Now we can see it tonight.
He's missed these moments. 10:36 the time, 25 more minutes to play. I wonder if they'll call it at the end of this set. That would seem fair.
Let's just make it best of 3.
And very similar to the last service game at Djokovic, where he started with a double fault. Nadal.
Please, at the back of the court, don't use flash photography. Please turn
double
the flash
faults
photography on. Off. Thank you. Out. 15-all.
Ball on his racket.
That's his bread and butter shot.
Been 9 hours of play on this court today, and that baseline's nearly worn out.
It's got middle-aged spread, hasn't it?
Pushing the ball's just going to get these players nowhere.
That was not that far over the net, was it?
Brilliant.
Just for a moment I thought, but no, safe.
40-15.
Darren Shara grills.
It's okay. You can look at it. He's playing pretty good tonight. Trust me.
Some tremendously impressive moves to the net from Rafa Nadal as he commits to this victory. Absolutely pivotal tie-break coming up, as Tim Edmonds has been saying. This feels right, this tie-break.
Both players receive an additional challenge for the tie-break.
Yeah, at this stage of the game now, any point will do. Such a key moment.
I wonder, it'll probably be the last act for this evening at 10:40.
Thank you. Thank you.
Too much point in starting a 4 set, so this place in the final could be at stake on this breaker. Down on it. Claire in his box. It was their fault.
NADAL.
It's just reaching out for some support. There's no one else out there to help you. It's an individual sport, no teammates, as we know.
Challenging, but I don't think he really believes it. It almost felt that Djokovic has given his advantage away in that rally. But Nadal missed, so back to square one.
Well, he missed one in the first set, but very rarely misses any overheads. Look at this. Oh, use the leg strength. Over 2.5 hours in this semi-final. It's just a baby compared to the 6 hours and 36 of the first semi-final.
elevated each other again. Playing incredible tennis now.
Djokovic. Red for service.
Can hear pin drop now. Total silence.
What a tiebreak this is. Sliding ground strokes. Nadal once again, as we were saying, comfortable at the net. So many winning volleys. Happy to move forward, but that one he was just a little rushed. This tiebreak will be the last tennis we will see this evening. Check, Tim?
I think so. It seems strange just to start the fourth set to play one, maybe two games.
Play must finish in 13 minutes time or very shortly thereafter. So this is the last breaker. It will resume tomorrow, perhaps at 1 p.m. before the women's final. So a bonus on women's final day.
You've got to get that back into play, Boris, right?
This point of the match.
4-3, Djokovic.
That was a cheap one. But he's still up a mini break. He only has to hold serve.
Set up the lob, coming in for the overhead.
Not everybody's absolutely confident with the Djokovic smash, but this one was beautifully done. That's the backhand though, isn't it? Look at the work on this ball. It's safe, firm.
Changing the direction like that over the high part of the net. 4-3 in the third set breaker. Brilliant shot.
Only the very best can do.
Net for service.
cross drop shot, cutting across the face of the ball. And he was on the baseline when he played it against arguably the quickest guy on the court, or on tour.
5-4.
Djokovic pulled too far back behind the baseline here, giving the opening to Nadal.
Thank you.
Back on serve, everything.
Djokovic had the forehand in the middle of the court. Any question, did he have the conviction to move forward? He didn't. Nadal responded with a fantastic backhand down the line and another drop shot winner.
Thank you.
It was to be expected.
6-all.
It's been one of the longest Fridays that I remember. The match started at 1 o'clock this afternoon. It almost feels like yesterday.
You've known a lot of long Fridays, Boris. But this is a wonderful day of tennis. This is only the second match on the court, starting at 1. Kevin Anderson through to the Wimbledon Finals. Serena Williams against Kerber tomorrow, the women's final, and this will feature on Saturday's program as well. So you'll see the conclusion if you're lucky enough to have a ticket on women's final day. 6 points all. The Nadal drop shot is featured in this breaker more than you might have imagined. Djokovic has saved a set point with a piercing first serve, 6 points all. It's Nadal's forehand. He's whipped another winner. And he has the chance for a 2-set-to-1 lead on his own serve. Tim Henman has been saying, throw that serve out wide. Use it. That's the lefty serve. Let's see what he does.
Throw it out wide. Get the first shot of the rally on your forehand and go for it.
7-6. Nadal. Thank you.
You can't watch it either.
This is reminiscent of that tiebreak in 1980, Borg and McEnroe, where Borg started to serve volley, McEnroe started to stay back. It was so strange, all these drop shots. It's brilliant.
Things thought weren't getting any better.
Improvisation from both players.
Up the antes again.
Net for service. Net for service.
Probably not the time to discuss whether we get rid of that rule or not.
Please. Thank you.
What's that, 4 drop shots in the last 6-7 points? Normally when it gets tight, you play to your strengths.
Against one of the fastest movers on the tennis court. Another set point for Nadal.
Serve brings reward, saves him. 8-all. Nadal has played 8 forehand drop shots in this match. He's won the point each and every time. Does he employ it again if he has the chance?
Djokovic's very first set point in the third set. Will he take advantage?
It's 10:59. Precisely, Novak Djokovic unable to make that return. He missed the return, it flew long and the clock changed. And I just thought he might lay an ambush there and take this set, but no, the match will not stop now. Obviously we'll finish the tiebreaker, but that will be it. Resumption tomorrow.
Both players have to forget about all these chances they had in the third set. It's 9-all. It's now or never.
There's somebody, we're looking straight
Once again, please,
down the
ladies
same
and
angle,
gentlemen,
somebody
don't
with a
use
flash.
photography. Thank you.
You know these mobile phones, they automatically engage.
Nadal is furious with himself for playing a half-volley drop shot. He played himself into trouble there. Difficult to know what to do with a dipping ball. And now Djokovic with a first set point on his own serve.
9, Djokovic.
Djokovic backhand down the line once again finds its mark. It is 2-1. Novak Djokovic and Andy Jarrett, the tournament referee, makes his way onto court, and I'm sure the players will know those will be final throws of the dice. Some of the crowd will be disappointed, but this will merely be confirming what they knew when they stepped out onto court.
We have reached the 11 o'clock time deadline. The match is suspended until tomorrow. Play suspended. Thank you.
Okay, so that is it. Well, what wonderful Friday entertainment this centre court crowd have had. 6 hours and 36 minutes of Anderson versus Isner, 26-24 in the fifth set. Anderson awaits in the final on Sunday. Which of these two men will advance? After the result. Thank you so much for your company on Centre Court today, wherever you are watching us in the world. Thank you for your company. This has been the centre of the tennis world today, that is for sure. All eyes on Anderson versus Isner for some 6 hours 36 minutes. That was amazing. And there'll be some great entertainment tomorrow, no doubt, as Serena Williams, what a compelling storyline she presents. Serena Williams playing Angelique Kerber, who is certainly not afraid of the Williams Challenge. That's the Women's Championship match tomorrow, and a bonus feature, if you like, on this centre. Have a great evening.